It wasn't an easy match for Eala. The first set was kind of straightforward, but the second set, Lynette put in that fight. And now, Eala's going to play Muchova, who is a very dangerous player, very tough player with all her variety. She's never played her before, so it's going to be fun to watch that match in a couple of days' time. But let me know in the comments below, can she beat Muchova? Now that Swiatek's out of the way, because of course Lynette beat Swiatek in the previous round, how far can Eala go? Can she get to the quarterfinals where she'll take on a top 10 player, either on Boko?
It's called wide. And so it's Alexandra Eala who is through. She did some incredible things here last year with the semifinal run. And she'd like to go even further.
The love affair with Miami continues for Alexandra.
Let's hear it one more time, Alex Eala. Caitlin is holding us out with signs delivered today. It's the official on-demand delivery and pickup platform of the Miami Open.
So the young superstar from the Philippines continues to delight her fans even here in Miami, Nico.
And you just saw her words. You just saw why she's so well liked everywhere. It goes beyond tennis. She's an unbelievable player, but poised beyond her years, and everybody eating.
The lights shine with an unforgiving intensity as we approach the round of 16. A critical juncture in any major tournament where the pretenders have been sent packing and only the true contenders remain. The air is thick with anticipation, the kind of heavy, palpable tension that only elite knockout tennis can produce. The margins for error have vanished into the ether. Every single point, every single strike of the ball now carries the weight of tournament survival. And in this incredibly high-stakes environment, we find a fascinating, beautiful, yet inherently dangerous stylistic collision. On one side of the net stands the young, fiercely talented Alexandra Eala, proudly carrying the number 31 next to her name and the hopes of an entire nation on her shoulders. On the other side stands the seasoned, brilliant, and deeply complex 13th seed, Karolína Muchová of the Czech Republic. This is not merely a tennis match. This is a profound clash of generations, a violent intersection of opposing tennis philosophies. And for the young Filipina star, it represents perhaps the most treacherous tactical minefield she has ever had to navigate in her professional career. To truly understand the profound danger that Alexandra Eala faces in this encounter, we must first deeply examine the journey and the weaponry of the young phenomenon herself. Eala is a trailblazer, a prodigy who has honed her craft under the intense demanding sun of the Rafael Nadal Academy. As a left-handed player, she naturally possesses an inherent geometric advantage on the court.
Congratulations, you are headed back to the fourth round here in Miami. And to do it, you had to get through a fighter today in Magda Linette. You know how tough she can be. Other than this incredible crowd, what do you think got you over the finish line?
Oh, I think patience was a very key aspect of how I played today. You said it first, Magda is such a fighter, and every time I played against her, she's put me in such difficult positions. So kudos to her for playing well, and yeah, I really enjoyed the battle.
Okay, last year at this time, you were ranked 140 in the world, and coming into the Miami Open this year, you're 29 in the world. What would you say is the biggest difference in you standing here today as both a person and a player?
I think I've matured a lot in the past year. I've been put in a lot of high pressure moments, a lot of big stages, which I am so grateful for and wouldn't trade for the world. But you know, being back in the fourth round, it makes me feel the same as I did last year. I'm so happy. I'm so excited, and you know, it's such a privilege to be back in Miami.
Well, it is so great to have
an angle of attack that makes right-handed opponents inherently uncomfortable. Her game is built on a foundation of aggressive rhythmic baseline power. She thrives on taking the ball early, dictating the tempo, and unleashing heavy penetrating top spin off both wings, particularly her forehand, which she uses as a relentless battering ram to push her opponents deep into the corners of the court. Eala is a rhythm player. She flourishes when she can plant her feet, feel the cadence of a high-speed rally, and engage in punishing physical baseline exchanges when the ball comes to her at a consistent pace and a predictable trajectory. She is a devastating force capable of hitting clean winners through the most robust defenses. Her youth provides her with boundless energy, a fearless disposition, and a raw, unyielding hunger to prove she belongs in the upper echelons of the sport. The fact that she has fought her way into the round of 16 as the 31st seed is a testament to her immense baseline quality and her fighting spirit. However, the immense danger lurking in this specific match lies entirely in the identity and the unique, almost anachronistic playing style of her opponent. Karolina Muchova is not a rhythm player. In fact, Karolina Muchova is the ultimate destroyer of rhythm. While the modern women's game is largely dominated by baseline power hitters who seek to out-hit one another in a test of pure ball striking attrition.
It is so much fun to watch you play. You are so seemingly fearless. You take the ball so early. You redirect so well. Has that always been your style of game, or has there been a coach along the way that said, this is how you're going to play?
I want to think that being aggressive has always kind of been what I've aimed to do. Maybe it's only come out well like in the past year or so, but no, I think it's really part of my game. Of course, I have an amazing team who have really fine-tuned my game and really helped me take it to the next level now. But yeah, I think being aggressive is something that I like to do. Yeah.
40-15.
Muchova plays a brand of tennis that feels almost classical, a beautiful throwback to an era of supreme courtcraft, guile, and limitless variety. She is the quintessential all-court player, a tactical chameleon who possesses a tool for every conceivable situation and a countermeasure for every attack. Muchova does not just hit the tennis ball, she manipulates it. She weaves a complex, intricate web on the court, deliberately dragging her opponents out of their comfort zones and forcing them to play the match entirely on her terms. For a young, aggressive rhythm player like Alex Eala, facing Karolina Muchova is akin to trying to solve a complex mathematical equation while the numbers constantly shift and change shape. The primary weapon of disruption in Muchova's vast arsenal is her extraordinary backhand slice. In the modern game, the slice is often used defensively, a desperate measure to buy time when pulled out of position. But for Muchova, the slice is a razor-sharp offensive weapon. She hits it with heavy biting underspin, keeping the ball incredibly low to the ground and skidding viciously upon bouncing. This shot alone poses a catastrophic threat to Eala's game plan. Eala's heavy topspin ground strokes require her to strike the ball in a specific strike zone, ideally between waist and shoulder height. Muchova's slice will completely deny her this strike zone. The ball will bite and stay ankle-high, forcing Eala to bend low, scoop the ball up, and generate her own pace from a biomechanically disadvantageous position. This severely neutralizes Eala's power and prevents her from stepping into the court to dictate play. Every time Eala tries to establish a rhythm, Muchova will throw in a floating slice followed by a heavy topspin ball followed by a completely flat driving shot. She will mix speed, spins, and trajectories with surgical precision, ensuring that Eala never sees the same ball twice in a row. This constant variation is mentally exhausting and physically demanding, as Eala will have to constantly adjust her footwork and her timing for every single shot. Furthermore, Muchova's brilliant transition game and her exceptional skills at the net add another layer of immense pressure on the young Filipina. Unlike most baseliners who are reluctant to move forward, Muchova actively seeks opportunities to attack the net. She is a master of the approach shot, often using that biting sliced approach, keeping the ball low and forcing Eala to hit a difficult passing shot. Once at the net, Muchova possesses incredibly soft hands, profound spatial awareness, and the ability to execute exquisite drop volleys and sharp angles that leave her opponents stranded. This means Aya cannot simply camp behind the baseline and swing away. She must be constantly aware of Muchova's court position. If Aya leaves a ball even slightly short, she will instantly find Muchova charging the net, suffocating her time, and aggressively cutting off the angles. This creates a psychological claustrophobia. Ella will feel the constant pressure to hit the perfect passing shot or the perfect lob, which naturally leads to overhitting, forced errors, and a breakdown in confidence. The core will begin to feel incredibly small for Ella, and the target areas will seem to shrink with every aggressive foray Muchova makes to the net. The danger is also deeply psychological. Tennis is often described as physical chess, and Karolina Muchova is a grandmaster. She possesses an incredibly high tennis IQ and an uncanny ability to read her opponent's intentions before they even strike the ball. Muchova will probe Eala's defenses early in the match, testing different patterns of play to identify the young player's vulnerabilities. Once she finds a weakness, whether it is a specific movement pattern, a hesitation on low balls, or a tendency to rush passing shots, Muchova will exploit it with ruthless, calculated efficiency. For a young player like Eala, who is still accumulating experience at the highest level of the sport, this kind of tactical dissection can be incredibly demoralizing. It is one thing to be overpowered by a stronger opponent. It is an entirely different and often more painful experience to be systematically dismantled by a smarter one. EA might find herself winning the baseline rallies when she gets to hit the ball in her strike zone, but she will ultimately find those opportunities incredibly rare. Muchova will employ the drop shot, drawing Aya awkwardly into the forecourt, an area where young baseline specialists are often least comfortable. She will force Aya to hit balls on the run off balance and out of position. We must also consider the vast discrepancy in experience under pressure. While Ayla's rise has been meteoric and her talent is undeniable, she is still relatively new to the second week of major tournaments. The pressure of a round of 16 match, knowing the quarterfinals are just one victory away, is an immense psychological burden. Karolina Muchova, on the other hand, is a seasoned veteran who has navigated these treacherous waters many times before. She has reached the finals of Grand Slams. She has battled the greatest players in the world on the biggest stages. And she has repeatedly demonstrated an incredible capacity to elevate her game when the stakes are highest. When the match gets tight, when the score reaches 5-all in the final set, experience becomes an invaluable currency. Muchova knows how to manage her heart rate, how to construct points under intense pressure, and how to execute her highest risk shots with unwavering belief. Ella will be forced to draw upon reserves of mental fortitude that she may not have fully developed yet. The sheer tactical complexity of the match will demand total unwavering concentration from Ella for every single second she is on the court. A momentary lapse in focus, a slight dip in energy, or a brief strategic error will be instantly punished by the Czech maestro. If we analyze the specific matchup dynamics, Ayala's left-handedness usually provides her with an edge, allowing her to hook her heavy cross-court forehand directly into her opponent's backhand. However, against Muchova, this conventional strategy might backfire spectacularly. Muchova's backhand is arguably her most versatile side. She can drive it flat and deep, but more importantly, she can employ that devastating slice we discussed earlier. If Aya predictably attacks Muchova's backhand with heavy topspin, she will simply be feeding the exact shot that Muchova loves to slice back, thereby initiating the very pattern of play that disrupts Ayala's rhythm the most. Alia will therefore have to be incredibly creative. She cannot rely on her standard patterns. She will have to flatten out her shots, attempt to hit through the court, and perhaps even take a page out of Muchova's book by coming to the net herself to finish points before Muchova has the chance to weave her tactical web. But executing a completely new, high-risk game plan on the fly against a top-tier opponent in the round of 16 is a monumental, almost impossible task for a young player. This match ultimately represents a brutal examination of Alexandra Aya's adaptability. Can a pure rhythm player survive against the ultimate rhythm disruptor? Can overwhelming youthful power find a way through the complex geometry and varied spins of a tactical genius? The danger for Eala is not just that she might lose the match. The danger is that she might feel completely lost on the court, unable to play the tennis that brought her to this stage in the first place. Muchova has the unique capability to make even the most explosive players look sluggish and out of sync. Eala will have to fight not only the opponent across the net, but also her own growing frustration as the match progresses and the rallies refuse to settle into a comfortable, predictable pattern. As we look towards the prediction for this fascinating encounter, we must acknowledge the sheer fighting spirit of Alexandra Eala. She is a phenomenal competitor, and she will undoubtedly bring incredible intensity and passion to the court. There will likely be moments in the match, perhaps early on, where Eala's sheer power overwhelms Muchova, resulting in a flurry of spectacular winners that demonstrate precisely why she is considered one of the brightest prospects in the sport. If Eala can serve at a phenomenally high percentage, hit her spots with absolute precision, and maintain a hyper-aggressive mindset that prevents Muchova from dictating the terms of engagement, she certainly has a puncher's chance. She must turn the match into a physical sprint, denying Muchova the time and space to turn it into a tactical marathon. However, over the course of a long, grueling match, the tactical superiority, the immense variety, and the profound experience of Karolina Muchova are overwhelmingly likely to prevail. Eala is simply facing too many variables, too many different types of shots, and too many complex tactical questions. Muchova will absorb Eala's initial onslaught, slowly figure out the timing of the young Filipina's heavy strikes, and then begin the systematic process of dismantling her game. The prediction here is a victory for Karolina Muchova. It may not be straightforward. Eala's raw talent and baseline firepower might be enough to secure a tightly contested set fueled by adrenaline and a desperate desire to win. But as the match stretches into a deciding phase, Muchova's ability to change the pace, to drag Aya to the net, to execute drop shots, and to force Aya into hitting low-percentage passing shots will ultimately be the deciding factor. The Czech veteran will likely weather the early storm, use her brilliant slice to completely neutralize the height and bounce of Aya's forehand, and eventually frustrate the young star into a flurry of unforced errors. Expect to see Muchova strategically moving Eala side to side, up and back, never allowing her to establish a base camp on the baseline. The final result will likely see Karolina Muchova advancing, perhaps in a hard-fought three-set battle that will serve as a harsh but ultimately invaluable learning experience for Alexandra Eala. The young Filipina will leave the court knowing exactly the kind of tactical sophistication and courtcraft she needs to develop to transition from a great ball striker into a true Grand Slam champion. For Muchova, it will be another masterful demonstration of the beautiful, complex art of tennis, proving once again that in a sport increasingly dominated by raw power, there is still immense, devastating value in variety, intelligence, and the perfect execution of the backhand slice.